Chris Bosh, the man who revolutionized the center position in the NBA. At his 6'11" frame, he was able to do everything on the court, from finishing
for at least 5 years as Bosh flies him
to shooting,
the corner behind his back. Bosh for the lead. Go!
Passing,
the rebound. Oh, nice behind the back feed.
Defending,
Pass to Green. Blocked by
and rebounding.
Won't go. Rebound Bosh. Back out to Allen. His three-pointer. Bang!
And now in NBA 2K26, we have created Chris Bosh, and he is ready to revolutionize the center position once again. What is up, YouTube? It's your boy Risk, and I am back with another banger. And as you guys saw in the intro, in today's video, we're going over my Chris Bosh, aka Popper build in 2K26. And just like Chris Bosh did in the real life, how he transformed the center position, I think this build right here is going to change the entire meta for Popper builds. And when we get into the build, you will see exactly why. But if you guys are new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button. We're on the road to 8.5k subs. And then hit that like button. It truly means a lot as it helps my videos gets pushed out. So if we could hit 50 likes on this one, I would appreciate that a lot. And with that being said, let's get right into today's video. So as with any build that you make, the first and most important step is selecting that position, height, weight, and wingspan. Now, obviously here we're going to be going on the center position, and for our height, we're going 6'11", which not only is Chris Bosh's real height, but again, the whole point of this build is to create this new meta around the center position. These 6'8", 6'9" poppers, in my opinion, are nasty. I do not like playing the same height center as a guard on the court. You need to be taller, and I think 6'11" is the perfect middle ground for that, especially the way that we are going to build this build out. Now, weight, we're going to keep it at 253, and wingspan, we're going to max it out because we want to be able to get blocks, get better dunk animations, and all that revolves around wingspan. So we're going to go category by category here, upgrading all of our ratings. Now, right off the bat, if something looks a little fishy, doesn't make sense, that is probably something I will cap breaker later on, which later in the video, you'll be able to see all of that. So just stick with me here. In the end, all of it will make sense. Now, starting with our close shot, we're going to be going with a 72. And then that's going to give us a 77 driving layup. Nothing too particular with these attributes. I believe they're just the minimum I could get. Now here's where we get serious. 87 driving dunk with an 81 standing dunk. Now the reason for this is because the way I've been playing this game, testing this game, what I've heard from other people, and what seems to be true is that driving dunk is actually better than standing dunk, because when you go with these only standing dunk builds, you struggle to actually trigger the standing dunks because the green window is so small. But with these driving dunks, all you got to do is essentially hold RT or your stick slightly up, and you will trigger the standing dunks, but have a bigger green window because it's going to pull from that driving dunk attribute. And then on top of that, you obviously get all the driving dunk animations and all that. So it really just makes the build a lot better. And just to show you a few glimpses of me actually putting these attributes to use, as you see, I'm able to easily take people off the dribble and get these driving dunks. And as I'm setting screens, cutting, holding RT, running towards the basket, I'm able to trigger these standing dunks and get that huge green window, making these dunks very easy. Now, moving on to our shooting here, there's going to be nothing too exciting here, to be completely honest with you guys. We're going with a 70 midi and then a 78 three-point shot. But what I will say is that it is actually very easy to shoot, as I'm sure you guys know. So I have no problems with this rating. And then I did specialize in shooting, so eventually I plan on turning that set shot into Hall of Fame with maybe a silver dead eye. And then the 2 cap breakers, bumping it up to an 83 point to unlock a couple more jump shot bases or whatnot. So overall, I think you're going to be perfectly okay with this rating. And it's very reminiscent of Chris Bosh. You know, you're going to be able to step out and shoot, but it does not mean that you're some Karl Anthony Towns, you know, shooting ability from the arc. And I'm not going to sit here and show you a million clips of me shooting shots, you know, and greening them. You guys know how easy shooting is in this game. And just know with this build, I shoot it with confidence, and I have seen no issues with it up to this point. Now, moving over to playmaking, similar to shooting, nothing too exciting here. But again, we're just going for the bare minimum to be successful. Not touching ball handle, not really touching speed with ball, but that 71 pass accuracy is going to be enough to at least attempt some of those breakout passes and just those normal passes to where it's not going to be extremely slow. And unlike other people, I will never fully neglect pass accuracy. If I'm neglecting it, that means I'm going a 71 at bare minimum, because even with 71, as you can see, you're still able to push the floor, get passes down the court, and help your team. Moving on over to defense, here's where it starts to get really fun. So interior defense, we are going with an 84 interior defense. Then we're going to be maxing out our perm defense at 72 and then bumping the steal up to 60. Now, right off the bat, I will say again, popper builds usually don't get this perimeter defense at this height or the steal at this height. But even we're 6'11", we are able to get this. So you are going to be able to play on that perimeter, contest guards, contest 7'4", and then with that 84 interior, and then now the 95 block, you are going to be locking down that paint. And it's one of my favorite parts about this build, because with the high block, the decent enough steal, it feels like you have the same defense as a 6'8", 6'9" popper, just being 2 inches taller. Now, heading on over to rebound, I know I'm going to probably get questions about this in the comments, the way I decided to do this. I went with an 80 offensive rebound and then 95 defensive rebound. Now, yes, obviously Chris Bosh is known for that offensive board to save the game, but normally he was not really a good offensive rebounder, which is why we're going heavy on the defensive rebounding here. And you could probably guess eventually we're going to throw on some cap breakers here to get all these badges legends and be one of the best rebounders on the court. And a pretty unique rebounder as with these two particular clips, you see me using my speed, height, and thin frame all together to, get these, plays where I'm running down the court chasing after the ball, whether it's getting a putback dunk, a rebound, just using that speed to my advantage. And then taking a quick glance at our physicals, we're going with that 68 speed, 60 agility, 83 strength, and 83 vertical. Now, this is going to get you that high flyer denier on Hall of Fame, as you see, the pogo stick on Hall of Fame, and again, 2 badges that could be potentially cap breaker to legend. Helps us get the poster, the rise up, and again, most importantly, the speed and agility for me is what matters the most. A lot of these taller builds have speed in the lower 60s, agilities in the 50s. I personally cannot play on a build like that. And again, sticking to the Chris Bosh style here, he was a skinny, agile center, which is what we went for here. And then the only downside to this build is you're only going to have 83 strength. But, with my experience, if you were to +2 this brick wall to Hall of Fame, put on the Crasher Takeover, I think you'll be more than fine in terms of setting screens, which is really the only concern with the strength rating. When we hit continue here, you're not going to see shades of Chris Bosh, even though I did build one that did give me the Chris Bosh, but it just was not up to par or to my likings, because again, I make these builds as realistic as possible, but also to be as successful as possible in the actual 2K game. And this is what I was able to come up with. The rim reaping rim rocker that plays very identical to Chris Bosh. And you see the weaknesses, unsteady under the rim, which is simply not true. And then post scoring ability, we do not care. But everything else, strengths across the board, block, rebound, dunk, Hall of Fame badges, which will be +1, +2, cap breakered all the way up to legend. Overall, this build is just amazing. And then, like I previously mentioned, build specialization, you're going to be going to shooting, because again, that +2, the +1, the 2 cap breakers will really take this shooting up another notch, so you could be a very consistent shooter beyond the arc. So now let's dive into the cap breakers really quick. Now, obviously, everybody is going to have a wide variety of different amount of cap breakers at this current stage. I'm going to tell you what I did with my 6 cap breakers and what I plan to do in the future, and you could go based off that. Now, my #1 priority with this build would be upgrading that defensive rebound, and it takes 4 cap breakers to get it maxed out, but that does get you legend rebound chaser, legend box out beast. That's what I already did with my 4 cap breakers. And then from there, I went to my block rating. The 97 block rating increases paint patroller, and then when you get that up to a 99, eventually you will get legend Hall of Fame high fly denier. But again, that would require 10 cap breakers. I'm not there yet, but that's what I plan on doing in the future. And then following that, I would love to throw on a cap breaker to my driving dunk, because that +2 gets it to 89 driving dunk, which unlocks 1-foot contact dunks. Same thing with my pass accuracy. It would take another 5, but upgrading the pass accuracy does give you a couple new badges at 76 overall. You could also dabble into your free throw if you're a perm and rec player. Steal, you could even upgrade it to get glove and get interceptor on silver. Speed, you could get up to 72 speed. Like, there's just so many different avenues you could take here. But again, my #1 priority would be getting that defensive rebounding and then getting that block up with a little dabble and sprinkles into driving dunk and pass accuracy. But yeah, I mean, I hope you guys enjoyed the build. Like I said, I truly think this is the most dominant popper build, and if you were to make this build, I promise you it would not disappoint. So yeah, if you haven't yet, just make sure you drop a like on this video, hit the subscribe button. It would mean a lot to me. And yeah, it's your boy Risk, and I'm out.